Hi dear viewers. Today I'm joining a conversation with Jace Cascio, the author of Quicksand, and it's quite a pleasure actually to have Jace on the show today. We'll be talking about its wonderfully written story. It's quite lovely to have Jace on the show today. Jace, how are you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me on the show, Peter. It means the world.
Absolutely. It's lovely actually to have you on the show. It's exciting. We're going to be having a conversation around your works.
For sure, for sure. I can't wait to talk about it.
Yeah. So, Jace, your book, Quicksand, is based off your experience suffering from deep depression and some other things and life issues. And I'd like to ask you, could you briefly tell us about the making of the book and what inspired you to write the book?
Yeah. So trigger warning, first of all, this we'll talk about suicidal depression, anxiety, mental illness in general. So I just want to give that
Wow.
trigger warning out there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um so I it was not an easy process. I started writing Quicksand when I was 18 years old and I ended it when I was 21. So it
Wow.
took me a few years to complete. Yeah. Um it's about my battle with severe anxiety and depression and how I almost committed suicide. It got really close to that.
Mm.
Um, I wanted to show people that don't know what it's like to have this strong mental illness that how powerful it can become, how devastating it can be. And I wanted to show people who do know what it's like and are suffering with mental illness, like, hey, I understand you, I care about you, I relate to you. You're not
Mm.
alone in your battles, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Um, Yeah, so I wanted to show both the people that don't understand, the people that do understand what it's like, and I care. I'm there for them. And yeah, it was not an easy process at all.
Yeah.
I share a lot of vulnerable information about myself, a lot of insecurities I have that was difficult to do, but
Mm.
it was worth it. It really was worth it because it's helped a lot of people I've heard, and it's just amazing how impactful it can be.
Yeah, that's actually lovely because I remember reading through a short description of the book and I found it to be quite, pulling. Like, wow, this is such an amazing story to tell. That's quite lovely for you to eventually pull it up and eventually have a story written about your experience. And if you have a copy of the book there, I'd love it to show it to the camera just so we can see what it looks like.
Right here.
Quicksand. Can you talk a bit about the inspiration of the name and the cover design? I think, 'cause I'm not sure, but I think most authors have a message behind their covers, Eden, like a different art on itself. Would you like to talk about that?
Sure. So, my metaphor is the quicksand represents the severe depression. I feel like severe depression is almost like you're sinking like into
Hmm.
nothingness, like you're
Wow.
slowly sinking away. And
Absolutely.
quicksand represents that, and the desperate hand sticking out
Yeah.
is
Help
like
me.
the help me out. Yeah, like I'm
Yeah.
dying.
Mm.
I can't do this
Wow.
anymore. Yeah.
Interesting. That's such a beautiful illustration. I love the
Thank
sound of
you.
that. It rhymes so heartedly. It goes in beautiful. Honestly, a normal person viewing it might not know the meaning or the representation blindly, or like a layman, let me say. But asking you and having an idea of what the quicksand represent and what the hands means, it's beautiful, really. It's beautiful because actually we all need help.
For sure, we all have our struggles and insecurities, and we all need a helping
Absolutely.
hand every now and then.
We all need
Yeah,
help.
for sure, for sure.
Yeah. Now, I'd also like to ask you, Jace, for readers who haven't read Quicksand yet, and without giving much information away, could we have a sneak of what I'd expect in terms of themes picking up the book?
Yeah, so like I said, there's a lot of dark topics in this book, like suicide, um, all that kind of stuff, and you
Hmm.
can expect a lot of deep conversations. It's funny because I'm very conversational with the reader. Like I'm
Oh,
literally talking to the reader. I say, "Hello, dear reader. Hi, dear reader."
wow.
I I'm talking. It's like a counseling session almost. You know what I mean? It's literally like
Wow.
a counseling session, and yeah, it's just very conversational. And um, I just share a lot of empathy, a lot of encouragement, inspiration, wisdom. You can expect a lot of wisdom. just expect a lot of transparency. You know what I mean? Just
Mm.
expect a lot of me not holding back from anything. I share everything. I'm
Wow.
very transparent and clear with it.
That's beautiful. That's amazing to know, really. I love the
Thank you.
sound of that. That's amazing. And I know we all know that writing real life stories sometimes can be quite tasking and
Mhm.
challenging. And I would like to ask you, do you experience any challenges while writing this book, in the process of writing the book, in the process of putting the text together? And if so, could you tell us what challenge it is and how you ultimately overcame it?
Yeah. So, um, like I said, a real challenge was being so vulnerable and transparent with my personal struggles and battles because I
Mm,
kept a lot of this stuff to myself for a long time. But what helped me overcome things was my desire to help people and comfort people was more powerful than my fear
wow.
of my insecurities. You know what I mean? So I just had to get through that. I knew this was going to be like a life changing thing
Mm,
because I was letting like all so many people just come right into my life basically and see everything, even the bad parts of it. So
wow.
that was definitely a challenge, and you know, the desire again for helping a life, saving lives was more powerful than the fear of
Mm,
embarrassment or that kind of thing.
absolutely. Wow, this is beautiful, really. This is quite amazing. And I thank you. I appreciate the fact that you could share it. Thank you for sharing. Really quite
Absolutely.
lovely to me. Yeah, thank you. And now, apart from Quicksand, do you have any other works you've authored or say currently working on?
I do actually. I have two books I'm getting going soon. I
Wow.
have one that I'm currently writing right now. It's called I Am Mr. Curtis. So,
Oh.
I Am Mr. Curtis is about this insecure black boy named Rashad Curtis, and he grows up in a racist environment in Mississippi in the late 90s.
Mm.
And he becomes like this inspirational choir teacher for high school students. It's like a Dead Poet Society kind of vibe with Robin Williams, you know what I mean?
Oh.
Yeah, it's like a heartfelt, wholesome story, you know?
Yeah.
So that's one. The other one, I haven't really came up with the title yet, but it's about two brothers who realize that they're not on Earth. They were like all of the people were abducted by this alien colony, and they were put
Mm.
on a place that looks like Earth. And the two
Mm.
brothers discover that, so they're on like a quest, a mission to destroy the alien colony and take back, their world and save the world. And there's like a lot of twist in mind for that, a lot of fun stuff going on for that. And I think it's gonna be like 5 books in that series, maybe. But I don't know. I'm still working on it. Writing takes time. You know what I mean?
Mm. Yeah. I love your take on this actually, and that's quite amazing to know you have two books actually in progress. That's lovely to know. That's
Thank you.
beautiful to know. Yeah. That's quite amazing to know because sometimes I feel like authors need more exposure for their works. They need more praise for their works because come to think of it, writing actually isn't an easy task. It isn't an easy task. It takes quite
It's
a lot of
not.
time,
Yeah, a lot of
energy,
patience,
patience,
persistence.
yeah. So many things, to put it together. So it's quite amazing, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, would you like to talk about criticism? As authors, we all have different ways of reacting to feedbacks and criticism of our works. And I'm curious to know your opinion about criticism. How do you react to, say, negative reviews of your books if you've ever had one in time past, or even,
Yeah, so I have had negative feedback from my book, and it does have a sting to it, you know what I mean? It does hurt a little bit, but
mm,
I have to remind myself that, every book has a critic, every author receives criticism.
yeah,
So it's nothing personal. It's just they didn't enjoy it or they found something about it that they just didn't vibe with, I guess. But that's okay with me, because a lot of people have praised it, have loved my book, and
yeah,
it has inspired a lot of people. 82% of reviews on Amazon have been 5 stars, and I'm very thankful for that.
interesting, yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, I am open to constructive criticism. I do think there's always room for improvement.
mm,
Um, and the writing, I started when I was 18 again, so the
oh,
writing isn't like Shakespeare quality, you know what I mean? But it does improve as I get older, so that's kind of interesting to
wow,
see. Yeah. So
that's beautiful. That's amazing to know, really.
thank
That's
you.
lovely to know. Now, is there anything that you love to share with the viewers about your book that we did not mention in this interview and you'd love the viewers to know?
Well, I guess all I can say is I'm lucky to be alive, and I believe that this book has the power to save
Mm,
lives.
mm.
I'm very thankful for how I overcame it. And if you want to find out how I overcame it, read the book and you'll see I can't give too much away.
Yeah.
but but yeah, I just want to say hope is alive. There is hope. No matter how dark life gets, there will always be light. The night will not last, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
And there's always light. There's always hope, no matter how tough, dark things get. So yeah,
absolutely. Well, that's quite inspirational and that's quite hopeful. Thank you for sharing. I would like you
absolutely.
to read a short section of your book to the audience, but before then, I'd also love to ask you, as a published author, what sort of advice do you have for writers who are still struggling with writing and publishing a real life story like yours? What would you advise people in this category?
Yeah. My advice is definitely don't stop, don't quit because it's not something that happens overnight. You're not
Yeah,
gonna finish the book in one day. It takes a lot of time, and
yeah.
if you put your best, your whole effort into it, it's gonna be worth it. Like it just takes a lot of persistency to finish a book. But when you do your best, when you put your heart and soul into it, it's really a beautiful piece of art, and it works. It really works. So don't quit. Keep going.
Wow. Thank you for your advice. Thank you. And I'm hoping that viewers, even including myself, would love to utilize it. Yeah, thank you. Now, would you like
You're
to read a
welcome.
short section of your book to the audience? It could be a favorite line, a favorite paragraph, or even a favorite page if you would love to.
Yeah, I'll just read a tiny bit of the introduction,
Yeah, let's do
just to
this.
give a little taste.
Yeah.
So it says, I will be going to college next fall with a major in either human services or social work to become a counselor. A real and helpful counselor, not those people who listen to you rant and just want your money. I sincerely care about people and I want to inspire and encourage them in any possible way I can. Sure, money is nice and all, but at the end of the day, my main goal is to make a difference in an individual's life and make a difference in the suicide rates. It's
Hmm.
getting worse. Suicide. Google says over 1 million people in the world attempt to commit suicide each year, and more than 40,000 people in America die from suicide each year. And it just seems to get worse and worse. It's an absolute tragedy. And I do understand exactly why they make this painful decision. Why do I understand? Because I almost killed myself. That's right. I'm going to explain everything. So just sit back and relax. I'm about to share with you part of my story. And then chapter one
Wow.
begins.
I never wanted that to stop. That was quite pulling and quite compelling, really. That's quite absorbing. Yeah. This short
Thank you.
recitation and reading is quite absorbing. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for reading. And, that sounds like an amazing introduction to a lovely and tumultuous ride, I would say. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
And I think, this is actually one of the important things to talk about because there are quite a lot of people passing through some, crazy things on heart. And, life sometimes can be can be funny, can show the ugly side of itself. And we need words like this to be able to navigate through those dark and difficult times. So yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful to know. Thank you for eventually writing a book like this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you. Now, just in case we have some viewers who are currently watching this interview, I would love to get a copy of your book. On what platform is it available on for purchase?
Yeah, so it's on Amazon for $10. Just go to Amazon, look up Jace Cascio or Quicksand Jace Cascio. You see this desperate hand sticking out, just like
Yeah.
on the paperback copy. You'll see that desperate hand sticking out, and yeah, it's only $10. I would absolutely love for you guys to read it. If you read it, leave a review and just be honest. Tell me what you thought. I would love to read your reviews. I read every single review. They mean the world to me. So yeah.
Hmm. That's beautiful. That's amazing, really. And I left a link in the description part of this interview where interested viewers can get a copy of Jace Cascio book directly on Amazon and also on other platform. So thank you so much, Jace, for accepting the invitation to be featured on P English Literature. It's awesome having this conversation with you.
Oh, absolutely. It's been a great deal of fun. I love being here. Thank you so much, Peter.
Yeah, it's my pleasure as well. Thank you.